Before we fire up the podcast, today is the last day to buy tickets online for LAL Live. The cutoff is tonight, October 28th at midnight. If you don't grab your tickets now, the cost is $300 cash only at the door. I hope to see you there.
You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Straightforward, no-nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. It is your host, Brian Fullerton, here, hanging with you guys, and good morning. Well, today's podcast episode, I'm actually really excited about sharing with you guys. We're actually filming this, quote-unquote, in studio live in the pole barn, hanging here today with my friend Mitch, all the way from, is it Grand Rapids, Michigan?
I'm in Portage, Michigan.
Portage, Michigan.
Yep.
There you go. Well, without further ado, we're going to be talking about all things Earthway, the Polar Tech line. We're actually here at my house, at our property, in the pole barn. What do you think about the pole barn?
It's fantastic. I'm really, really jealous. I think I could fit 3 of my garages in here.
Well, thank you. Super appreciate that. I was saying before we hit record, I think you're my first guest to actually shoot a podcast literally at my house or on site, which is really, really cool. So welcome and thank you for even making the trip out from Portage all the way over here.
Oh, I appreciate you having me. It's been a lot of fun so far this morning.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I was giving Mitch the grand tour here. We're just days away from moving into the house. Please don't judge this whole lane of my crap. This is all going into the house in about 10 days. But once this gets cleaned out, I think we'll actually have like a working barn.
Yeah, definitely. Once you get it cleaned out, like I said, when things look lived in it, you know, it's a real person. I am in Brian's real shop.
Yeah.
This is a real podcast.
You see our real equipment. Yeah.
Yep.
And it's dirty. So either we're, people always say like we're actors, either it's too clean and we're fake, or it's too dirty and how dare us not cleaning up our crap.
Yep.
So I don't know how to make the internet happy, but for all of you guys listening to the show and you guys are regulars, I just want to say welcome to the show. Welcome back to the show. If you guys are new here, it's all about Lawns Lessons Life. We're all about helping you guys grow a more successful lawn and landscape business so you guys can go out there and crush it. So thanks for listening to the show today. Very, very excited about having Mitch here all the way from Portage. Before we jump into it, I want to give your like actual credentialed introduction and background. So you're one of like the main guys here at Earthway. So why don't you give them like your 30 to 60 second maybe background and let us know where you're coming from.
Sure. So I'm the director of customer service and sales support at Earthway. That's just the fancy title that I got when I came over there. I've got a long background in lawn care. I started a lawn care company of my own when I was 9 years old. About a walk behind at 15. Okay. Before that, I had bought a tractor when I turned 12, and then I had 60 some odd accounts when I graduated high school. So
that's awesome.
I've been in the industry for a long time.
Yep.
Fast forward, 25 years later, I'm with a company called Earthway, and I get to continue to play with lawn equipment for a living, which is the dream for all of us.
Isn't that funny?
It's fantastic.
Well, 60 lawns at, 15, 18 years old or whatever? That's huge. Talk about that for a quick second, because it's always fun getting to talk to people that are, industry reps or company folk, quote unquote, I call it. And you know who's the engineers, who's also the engineers that design it but have never used it. We've had our fair share of those kind of folks in all the industry, right? And usually we tell them to take the product back to the drawing board. I've never had to do that with Earthway product, so I don't know if that's because of you or the great team back at the mothership, but you guys actually make great product that I don't have to complain about, so that's always a plus, But so you had 20, 30 years in the industry. Take me back to when you were a kid pushing mowers. That's awesome.
I did. So the area that I grew up in, there was a lot of folks that would rather pay to have their lawn mowed than do it themselves. And I was the young 9-year-old kid that would rather go and get $5 from the next door neighbor and get to play with their self-propelled lawnmower.
Oh, there you go.
We didn't have one of those.
Wow. That's fancy technology back then.
It was. And as time kind of progressed, I did this neighbor and then this neighbor and another neighbor. And next thing you know, I've got a self-propelled walk-behind mower that was 22 inches wide.
Oh, there you
21, that was a big step up. And then a Craftsman tractor came when I turned 12 that my parents helped me pull off.
Did you get it from Sears Roebuck back in the day?
Sure did.
There you go.
Sure did.
They had one at the 12 Oaks Mall down the road, and it was like the Cadillac back then.
Yep.
That's so funny. Bought
a 48-inch walk behind when I was 15 and had a little 4x8 Home Depot trailer that we built a ramp on the back, and I used the lawn tractor to pull the the mower around with me in the neighborhood to do my route, and then truck at 16, and you know how that just kind of spirals. And
that's so crazy. And then today we were actually just getting started, just showing you the shop a little bit, and you have a 920M, I think, John Deere that you were using for your property. So you're like all in on this. You're a lawn nut like us.
I don't do anything commercial anymore, but one of my kids actually used all the equipment when they were in high school going through to make some extra money. And
there you go.
It's
in your blood.
It's all good stuff. And unfortunately, the equipment is too large for the home I live in now. So now I'm downgrading a little bit, but that's all right.
All good.
As long as I can make stripes, I'm happy.
There you go.
No, it's been kind of a fun transition over to Earthway because, like I said, with my background, I've been out in the field and I've used all these products.
Sure.
And when they were originally bringing me over to Earthway, when I was interviewing, like, yep, I want to talk to you about a company called Earthway. And I said, the spreader people?
Yeah.
He's like, you've heard of Earthway?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I've got one in my garage.
Right.
He's like, of course you do.
It's so funny, like... I think a lot of folks, since we're doing a little bit more partnering together, both on social media and on the podcasting world, have seen they're connecting the dots who Earthway is. Like you guys are getting more involved as well on social media the last 12, 18 months. And people are like, yeah, I have one, or I've used that before, or I've seen those before. You guys have always been an industry leader. So like, that's so funny that even when you were interviewing back in the day for the position, you're like, yeah, I know Earthway. Isn't that crazy?
Yep. Yeah. I needed a tow behind for, I was putting down seed or something for a job, and the place I happened to be standing in, they had a couple choices, and the guy said, that's the one you want. I said, okay.
Yeah.
And that's
the rest is history.
Sitting around forever. So, so that was kind of an easy transition. So I got to go from playing in the field and, some office background with, different development projects and stuff like that. And I landed at Earthway almost 3 years ago now and haven't looked back. So,
dude, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, want to just say thanks for partnering up with us. We've got some ads that you guys are investing into the podcast. Guys, when we say like it takes money to keep the show going and keep it alive, and the brands partner up with us, Earthway is going to be a fall and spring partner. Super grateful and thankful for them to be on the show. If you guys need a great quality spreader, I guess here's the quick pitch, and then we'll talk about some more fun stuff. But if you guys need a good quality spreader, both winter or summer, right, for salt and ice melt, or for lawn care season, check out the Earthway product line. You're not going to be disappointed. Really, really high quality product. You want to add anything really quick on that?
So like Brian said, 2 different lines. We've got our winter line, which is called Polar Tech, and those are typically all the blue ones you see running around.
Yep.
And then our summer line, or I guess spring, summer, fall line.
Sure.
The red ones for your fertilizer, your grass seed, and the neat part about that is they've got built-in side spread control, so there's no need for a deflector.
There you go.
Keeps all the product in with the flip of a switch. You can take it from 180 degrees down to 90. And then the oversized opening in the Polar Techs that work well for chunk rock salt, or some folks will throw sand with them even.
Okay. Heck yeah. Well, so literally like 3 feet from us, hanging under my lever rack pallet racking system here is the blue. Do you know the model? Are you that good?
That's a 90365. I'll play this game with you all day long.
Some people do. I don't want to put Johnny on the spot. What's the red one?
The red one that's sitting over there at the front of your door that you're using for your grass seed is our 2150 model.
2150.
Yep.
I get asked the model all the time on that one. That's my 100% my favorite spreader, bar none. To take it throwback for me when I first saw the Earthway line, it's folks, this is just like a common sense evolution of my business. When I was working part-time at National Fertilizer Company, True Green, I was spraying, lawns, doing the deal, and then they got us into aerations. And so when I went into business for myself, nights and weekends cutting grass, one of the very first services I added was aeration overseed, because it was all I knew, right? I didn't offer like fertilization. I knew I needed like my license. I wasn't going to do that on my own. But one of the first things I started offering was an aeration. And then when I was at Weingart's over here in Farmington, they had this whole like display for like, fall overseeding season. And they had a bunch of Earthway spreaders on display. And so, and I don't know, like this is probably me just, embellishing a little bit, but I'm sure there was like some, ceiling lights kind of pointed down and the angels were singing and it's like, that whole deal. And there's a couple Earthway spreaders and I'm like, and I remember my sales guy, Ted, I was like, Ted, like I need a spreader. He goes, Brian, if you guys know Ted, I'm not going to do his voice because he'll think I'm making fun of him. Ted's like my guy. I love Ted. But he's like, Brian, that's the best spreader you can get. And they were a couple $100 back in the day. And but he's like, you'll never buy another one. He's like, that's the best one. They're awesome. And I literally wouldn't even think of another brand for Earthway spread or for a spreader. So like, it's funny, your story and introduction into the brand, mine introduction into the brand, really, really good quality product. Long story short.
Best part about that story is it was a Weingart's location that I was standing in when he said that's the one you want.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, shout out to Weingart's. Shout out to Weingart's for facilitating the sale and speaking good things about Earthway, right? Since then, by the way, we'll talk a little bit of product, and I'm just infatuated with this whole conversation about the Polar Tech line too, because right now, obviously, we're going into fall, winter, so it might be a little bit tail end for some of you guys buying a drop spreader, for seed and whatnot for like fall over seeding or aeration season, obviously. But that 2150, phenomenal Earthway spreader. What's like the claim to fame? Like if you were going to give me the 30-second elevator, pitch, why Earthway versus some of the other brands? Just curious.
So I'll throw two out in there in my 30-second elevator pitch. So the first one is we manufacture everything right in Bristol, Indiana. So we're just down and around the corner from here. Yep. But the accuracy, I can't pitch the accuracy enough. They are a true 50-50 spreading unit. Place called Penn State University. Most people have heard of them. They've actually got a drop test that was developed to determine the accuracy of a spreader by collecting material in 1 foot increments all the way out across the spread width.
Wow.
You weigh all of those pans with the material in it, and then it will form your spread pattern. So they can graph that, and you can go, I'm 51% left, I'm 49% right. And if you do that with a big box spreader that you would pick up at any of those big box locations, it's green. I'm not going to name drop. But,
I got you.
those are really, really bad. It's like a 70-30.
Oh, really?
Distance, which is where if you read in reviews, it left stripes in my yard or it broke. The reason it stripes is you're double applying, double, single as you go back and forth.
Is that what that is?
Yep, that's what happens.
Bro, like my mind is blown right now. Because we all know the dark, thick green stripe from said brand, and then the return pass, there's nothing.
Yep.
That's what that is.
It is. You're putting twice the material down on one side as compared to the other.
Wow.
In one pass.
So we're projecting ourselves as professionals in the industry with an aeration or even fertilization and overseeding, I should say, or your fertilization service. That's a huge quality difference from some chuck in the truck hopping out with his $30 spreader versus an Earthway product that is actually delivering results like it says and claims that it does.
Yep. So as silly as this may sound, Earthway holds over 30 patents in spreader technology. That's actually a thing.
Wow.
I didn't know that before I started working there, but we've got a conference room that's literally named Innovation, and the entire back wall is nothing but all of the patents that we've done over the years.
Wow.
To just keep making the spreaders better and better.
I never would have honestly thought. So that's why we have Mitch on the show talk about the quality of the product versus me just trying to sell it all the time, right? Can you talk to me? So that's the red spreaders, right? That's more for like seeds, for that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Okay, and then the Polar Tech line, I recently got turned on to that about 2 or 3 seasons ago. Holy cow, game changer for snow shoveling, for our sidewalk crews, for myself when we're shoveling snow. The Earthway product line, you got to go in through it. By the way, I've got some right over there. You can see it poking out on the end of the rack. All of the guys are making all the shovels. Look in the top of my square barrel. Those are all of our extra pushers. And then over here, we've got some of the shovels already made up from last year. So, we actually use this stuff, Mitch. Isn't that crazy?
I picked up your pile of Earthway shovels in the corner when you were walking me around the building before we started.
Well, there you go. There you go. So, all of our shovels are getting built. We actually only had like 1 or 2 equipment maintenance days the last about 2 months because we've had no freaking rain. So, the guys are getting done, and then we're doing a bunch of other extra little work. We need to clean up the shop, as you can see. So, again, this whole lane, give me about 2 weeks from real time from now, that's all gone. And then we're reorganizing the whole freaking place over winter. By Christmas, I told everybody, I want this thing done. That way we don't have to keep, guys, come on in and do busy work, January, February. I want them to, kind of recuperate. But we do have to make shovels. That's on our to-do list. We got by the way, see my fancy Amazon whiteboard?
I do.
Isn't that kind of cool?
And it's even got things to do on it. It's not just sitting there looking shiny.
I'm trying to tell folks, we run a real business around here. I know we do a lot with social, but there's a lot of, payroll's going out. My wife always says, if everybody thinks we're fake, there's a lot of payroll going out to somebody, So she's not wrong there. So we got to make all those shovels up there in their square barrel. There's probably about 5 or 10 shovels in there. But there's a couple different items part of the Polar Tech lineup. Talk to me again about the spreader, because I actually am a little bit more curious now. I'm sure there's some crazy mad scientist technology behind this spreader versus maybe the red ones. Is there a difference?
There is a difference between them, and I'll kind of explain why we did what we did before I get in and explain what we did. So the number one failure mode in an ice melt spreader that happens out in the industry is the gearbox goes out.
Okay.
I don't know if you know why that happens or not, but when
stripping
rock
the
salt,
gears, maybe?
It does. When rock salt sits in the bottom of that hopper, it only takes about 5 minutes because that salt will suck up the moisture. It kind of clumps up.
Okay.
As soon as you go to roll that, All of the old traditional ice melt spreaders have an agitator pin, which is pinned directly into your gearbox. As soon as you put that forward pressure on your wheels, you're spinning that agitator pin in a clump of rock salt. All that shock force goes straight down into your gearbox.
It just shatters it, basically.
Yep.
Or something.
Not initially, but a couple of times you keep doing that, it beats up on it and they don't last.
Okay.
So there's not a good solution for that in that current state. So we just designed that problem away.
Okay.
And we did some modification to our hopper designs. And I'm going to kind of pull this out. I know the folks on here can't see.
No, I got this weight. Look at this. There's a caster weight for the X mark. There you go.
If you look on the inside of this one, that's got a large, oversized crescent opening.
Yep.
Similar to the 3 holes that you see in our fertilizer one, it follows the same pattern, but that one oversized opening accommodates for the larger clumps of rock salt to pass through naturally. The impeller underneath breaks the material up as it comes through and it goes out. But you'll also notice there's not an agitator pin in this.
Okay. I didn't lose it, right?
No, you didn't lose it. That
Okay.
is 100% intentional. We designed the agitator pin away and completely eliminated the shock force possibility.
To the gearbox?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
So the gearbox runs independent. There are a couple of your old school diehard guys, I need to have an agitator pin.
Okay.
There's a hole in that shaft if you really want to put one in there.
Okay.
But we don't need them.
No kid.
The material all flows down. You've had this thing around for a while. You can tell it's been well used, well loved.
Yep.
And you probably didn't even notice there's not an agitator pin there. It just works for you.
Nothing surprises me these days, especially as my team grows. We have employees. Employees maybe don't treat everything the same as an owner-operator would. So I'm like, maybe we lost the pin. I'm like embarrassed, like, what do I know? But no, that's actually totally good to know. By the way, we need to do a YouTube video on this. That wasn't really on the schedule, but like you should take, if you don't mind, 5 minutes and talk nerd with me on a camera because I didn't know all this actually exists. I thought they're just spreaders.
Yeah.
Even with what I know.
Love to.
That's so awesome. So this is the blue one is the Polartec line. And so these are designed for, like you said, bulk salt, ice melt, sand salt mix. So that's actually the design function for them.
Yep. So a regular red Earthway spreader, a lot of guys will use them for both because they're using pelletized rock salt.
Okay.
Right. It's the smaller. It's got a regular SGN that's measured when that goes in the bag. It's engineered salt, as we would call it.
Okay.
For your bulk rock salt, you're going to have a little bit more problems because the red ones are designed for accuracy, where the blue ones are designed for bulk.
Oh, okay.
Getting your more material, because with ice melt, you don't really need the accuracy. You need the quantity down to make sure you're not going to have an incident.
The more you know. Heck yeah. All right. You're blowing my mind here. I actually, this is so funny. Maybe it's also because I'm in person and I don't have like a way to like fall back on anything, So tell me something more about that. When you look at this, what do you notice? What else are you thinking about that sticks out? The handles?
Yep. So yeah, for those of you not looking at this with us, since you guys are on a podcast and not a video at the moment, it's got an oversized steel frame. This particular model that you've got is kind of our middle of the line. We've got one that's a little smaller. We've got one that's a little bigger.
Yeah, there's like a 100-pounder.
Yep. Yeah, there's a 100-pounder with a stainless steel frame, and then there's a smaller 50-pounder with a loop-style frame.
Okay.
It's super good for some of your quick jobs where you need to pull it up over the bed of the truck, go into the sidewalk real quick, and then it's right back up and over the side rail.
Okay.
That's a little bit lighter. That's the one that I actually brought for you that is sitting in your garage.
Is that the new one?
That's the new one.
Okay.
Yep.
That's the little guy?
Yep.
That's actually probably good for us because more nimble for us is probably better because I see some of the 100-pound guys, 100-pound salters, whatever going around. That's a lot of salt. Yeah. Well, we don't do anything that big.
No, that's why when we were brainstorming, and we'll give Jen credit where credit's due. I'm like, should I take him another 65-pound one? He's already got one, and she's like, no, I think maybe we go smaller.
Yeah, no, that's actually that's super cool to know because for real, like we're just throwing it in and out of the truck bed, tagging up a couple sidewalks or maybe a driveway or something. That's actually really, really good to know. Thank you, by the way.
No problem. So we kind of go with a good, better, best methodology at Earthway is kind of the direction we're going.
Okay.
So they all have the same drop opening technology, whether it's the ice melt or the fertilizer one with the side spread control.
Okay.
You just kind of have your smaller one for your average homeowner or your prosumer, as we would call them.
Okay.
But they still work for your commercial guys. And some contractors beat stuff up pretty good throughout the season, and then they throw it out, and then they start over next year. And then you've got other guys that are on the opposite end of the spectrum.
Keep it for 10 years.
Yeah, they're going to spend a little bit more money, take care of it, and it's going to last them. Yeah,
for a long time. Yep. That's awesome. That's so good to know. Super appreciate that. This is actually a lot more fun than I would have thought. But again, I actually kind of like nuance. I like the details. I always like tell folks like, hey, send me the slide deck or the product catalog. I'm gonna actually read it, because when I was younger and I had no time, no money, like I would just sit at home reading catalogs, like just dreaming one day. I probably had the Earthway catalog. I guarantee you. And I was like, man, one day I'll have the 2150. You guys can hear like my excitement in my voice. Hopefully, like it's actually like genuine. I really do love reading like the Xmark catalog and the all the catalogs we've had along the way. That's why at Equip Expo, I was the guy holding like the little bag, walking around with like 20 hats and 20 catalogs.
Yeah, you caught me off guard in the booth at Equip Expo. I think I'm in one of your videos out there on YouTube. I think is where I saw that one.
Yep, but, and Liz had the bag, by the way.
Yeah, Liz was there too. Shout out to Liz for carrying your stuff around for you.
She's more gracious than I can ever imagine. So
yep. So I'm going to blow your mind one more time. I know you've got the 2150. That is your golden stallion for your spreaders. If you just turn over, look over your shoulder, and take a peek at just the frame, the rear profile, and then spin back around to this one, you'll notice it is the same frame design.
Oh, no good. Okay.
So we've got a lot of commonality. It's super robust. They don't twist on you at all. It's got that additional cross support on the frame a little further up, just under the impeller, so that if you're going side to side or get on a hill, even with weight in there, you're not going to twist your frame. So they're super, super robust. And
what does mine look like to you visually? Does this look like it's due, or or does this look normal? Because we do beat this knot out of our stuff.
So I'm going to be completely honest with you. This guy right here looks well loved, well used.
Okay.
I don't think your guys follow their protocol and wash it at the end of each day to make sure that it's not going to corrode and stuff on you. So you can see some of the rust on here. It runs a little slow. You can clean it up.
I'm going to WD-40 it.
Yeah. That's all you need. Spray it down, WD-40 your points, and you're good for a couple more years. You're not rusting through anywhere. It all just looks surface to me. So.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. We just on some of the bolts and the screws, but we're going to WD-40. So again, ironically enough, now that we have the shop and the barn and the house, I have water that we can actually power wash. So you see my Simpson power washer over there in the corner?
Yep, gotcha.
First time we've actually like had a power washer in 17 years. So now we've actually like power wash our stuff at least once in a while. And it's like a dream come true. So I know it's like sounds so funny, but we finally have a home base. The local coin wash, we can't get our rigs through there. It's just too tight. So now at the end of the week, we'll bring the whole rig over and wash stuff down. And ideally, hopefully also our snow stuff now.
Yep.
So we will WD-40 this. We'll get it back in the shape. But moving forward now, at least the guys know as well, like this winter forward, every snowstorm, every event, we're going to be washing off the trucks the next, 34 degree day, a couple of days after the snowstorms, washing all the trucks, all the equipment, the salter, all that mess. We're absolutely looking forward to that. So, like you said, not too bad for this one's probably about 3 seasons old. So I think we're hanging in there. It looks not too bad.
Yeah, for sure. Well, the other one I can segue right out of is we've got a customer service team right on site in Bristol, Indiana. So if you need a new axle or your rate control that's a little rusty, we've got parts.
Oh, no, okay.
They're individually serviceable. You don't have to throw it out and start over.
Good to know.
So whether it's a rate control or a new tire or a handle because your guys dropped it off the truck, we can service these units for many, many years. So it's not just a one and done.
Heck yeah.
Investment.
Well, the more you know, and we'll leave it there for that. That's awesome. Well, this is going right back out in about another month as soon as we start Sultan's season, winter, obviously. So that's we actually use this stuff. Go figure. Really quick, the Polartec shovels. I don't want to gloss over them. They changed the game for us.
That is one of your favorite things to talk about. I think every time we chat.
I really, really love them because usually either the guys are plowing and I'm tagging up sidewalks, or we're hitting them the next day or the next morning. So like sidewalks are just a necessary evil for the whole industry. Obviously. Maybe with the robot mowers can do robot snow plowing one day. And I think I'd have no problem with that. I don't want them taking our jobs for cutting the grass. But if somebody else wants to do the sidewalks, we will totally let the robots take over in that regard. Unfortunately, I still think we're a few years out from that happening. So in the meantime, we're on shovel duty, right? So when I first saw the Polartec one, frankly, I don't even know where or how or when I saw it, but I just know somebody was going down a sidewalk and they were windrowing. And I'm like, how do you windrow a sidewalk? Like, I have all these, scoop shovels, like you said, from the big box stores. And I'm chiseling, 3 feet sections at a time, just hating life. It's, 10 degrees out, trying to make time, trying to make money. And then I saw the blue shovel going down. Some dude like windrowed, 30, 40 feet of sidewalk down and back in 30 seconds. And I'm like, I don't know what that shovel is, but I need it. And that's, I think, what kind of probably started this whole conversation.
Yep.
So what do you call them? A pusher?
Yep, it's called a snow pusher. So we've got two different types. We've got the contractor shovels like you were just talking about, you can scoop with. And then the snow pusher line, they're made out of a high-quality UHMW extruded polymer.
Okay.
So that's what the blade is made out of.
Okay.
It is so slick. Yeah. You can't put a decal on them. You can't put a sticker on them. Snow doesn't stick to them. You can't dig with them.
Wow.
It is designed to work just like the snowplow on the front of your truck. You put on a little of an angle and just start going.
That's crazy.
And it just rolls right off the edge.
Yep.
We've got them in 24, 30, 36.
Okay.
We've got a couple of 48s. That's usually a little bit much for folks to push. That one's not super popular. So that one's going to kind of go away.
Sure.
But the 24, 30, and 36 are all fan favorites.
Do you know which ones I have up there? Are those 30s or 36s probably popping out?
Popping out up there, I think those are probably 30s.
Yeah.
And 24s was the last round that you got from us.
Yep. So the 30s, so it's funny, like you can't make this stuff up in Michigan. 3 years ago, all powdered snow, we were in all like 1 to 3 inch snow events. So we were using the 30s, phenomenal. 2 winters ago and last winter, the 5 snowstorms we got both winters, all wet snow, all slush, all 4 or 5 inch events. So I was reaching out to the Earthway team, and that's when we got those blue contractor shovels, the maybe more of a traditional snow shovel.
Yep.
Because I was like, I can't snow, quote unquote, push the powder because it was all slush the last 2 seasons. And so we got some of the contractor ones over there. What's the other name of the other blue ones? The ones like the scoop shovels.
Yeah, contractor, you're spot on.
Contractors.
Yep.
Okay. So we got those. And then I think Jennifer sent the 24 inch pushers because, you pushing 3-4 inches of wet, slushy snow, a 24 inch is pretty much all you're going to do. Mm-hmm. So it's just funny. Like we're still finding the right product for the right snowstorm. Now we've got the full product line to our hand. So we're going to have probably both shovels in the trucks and the rigs. But when we had those powder events, I've never done our sidewalks faster in my life. Yep. Literally, I have like YouTube videos where I just set up the camera on a tripod and time lapse going down and back. And you probably saw some of those. You're just literally windrow down, windrow back.
Yep.
It's phenomenal. 4 inches of powder done in 30 seconds.
Yeah, when I first started with Earthway, I bought a 36-inch pusher.
Okay.
I went back and forth between the 30 and the 36. And after the first snow event, I went, man, 15 years ago, that would have been great. Yeah. That's a little bit much for me now that I'm getting a little bit older. So that one went to my neighbor, and I decided to buy a 30 instead.
There you go.
And that was kind of my sweet spot. And if it gets to be too much, I overlap it. But I 100%, like you did last year, I've got a couple of the contractor shovels as well to supplement depending on the wet snow versus dry.
That's awesome. If you guys have not seen those, they're probably double or triple, probably my opinion here, on the price of a snow shovel compared to what you're going to get at a big box store. Because you all know, like the snowstorm comes, the big box stores put out the big display and they're like, "I'll get your contractor shovel for $10 or whatever." Not the same deal. I'm telling you, make the investment into the Earthway ones.
Yep. Yeah. The ones that you're going to get from Earthway have a heavy duty fiberglass reinforced shaft. The D handle on the back of it where your hand goes, I know that you've probably noticed it's got a curve to it. So it actually puts all of the force right into the palm of your hand instead of hitting on the edges like a straight handle does.
Oh, okay.
So it's also for an oversized glove or a big work mitten or something of that nature.
Sure.
It's going to be a lot more comfortable to use, significantly more durable with the design, putting all of your push pressure down to the edge of the blade instead of on the top. Which is another thing that kind of makes it significantly easier to use when we talk about some of the patents and the technology.
I love it. I really do. Like, I couldn't even imagine plowing snow or shoveling snow with a traditional shovel at this point. I mean, we have like the contractor scoop shovels. I don't even know if we used them, 4 or 5 times last year. I mean, like maybe even ever. Like even if it's 4 inches of slush, we're still going to use a pusher. That's how like ambitiously lazy we are.
Yep.
Like we need a 30-inch pusher, a 24-inch pusher to do that with 3-4 inches of slush because it does get heavy. But my guys and I would rather just muscle and still windrow slush, which is what we've been getting a lot of lately in Michigan, versus even using a contractor shovel. Isn't that funny?
Yep.
So there you go. But absolutely love it. One of my favorite products for sure. Everything being said, I can't believe we're at 30 minutes already with talking about spreaders and shovels. It's actually kind of funny, but like at the end of the day, it's all about making more efficiencies, making more money, great quality product. This is the stuff that we're using to grow our business with. And so I'm actually glad that we're able to talk about all these different nuances of the brands, both PolarTech and the Earthway brand in general. So pretty fun stuff, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Any parting thoughts or final things that we didn't cover while you're here? But first off, I just got to say thanks for coming all the way over from Grand Rapids, Portage area, just to come hang out with little old us. We're just hanging out today. So
happy to do it. You had some stuff you were getting from us, so instead of
I got my order in.
Game,
yep.
I loaded it up in my car, and it worked out well timing wise. So
Jennifer didn't want to come up from Arizona where it's 70, 80, 90 and sunny and come up to Bumby, Michigan. It's like, what, 40?
It's a hard sell, isn't it? Hard sell.
People would say we'd have 10% more people at our live event this week at LAL if it was in like Tampa or Orlando, like in the sun. And I'm like, yeah, there's probably some truth to that. We just get spoiled over here with the conference center team, at Suburban Collection. Oh, yeah. I guess Jennifer didn't want to come up to. What do you think it is today for real? Like 47 degrees out, 50?
Yeah, it was about 45 this morning when we were unloading the vehicle.
It's got that wet, misty rain kind of going on today.
Yep.
Normal fall, October, November kind of blummy kind of a day, in Michigan.
Yep. We're just in our light pullovers.
Yeah,
another day in the Midwest.
It really is. Like I have friends that come from the South. They're in like toboggans and their snowmobile outfit. You and I are like in shorts and t-shirts almost.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Michigan folks and the Midwest folks, we're just a different breed. So it is really funny. Where can people? I love to sign off with the good old. Where can people find you?
Sure. Earthway.com.
Yeah.
And we're going to do them one better. I know we've got your product code out there. So if they use Brian's 10 on our website, that'll save them 10% off anything they want to get.
Cool.
So
shovels, spreaders,
got
it all.
It's all out there. If there's anything they can't find, we've got our customer support team is always in there.
Awesome.
Telephone numbers on the website, or I'll throw it out as 574-848-7491. If anyone wants to reach out to the team with any additional questions, comments, concerns.
Yeah,
we're real people in a real office.
Yeah.
Eager to help.
I love it. Great quality product. Again, I've used a lot of other spreaders and spreader brands, no doubt about it. Like over the years, just things have come and go, and we get sent other samples from other brands. 100%. Literally, look around. What other spreaders do I have? I think I have one other brand.
Yep, I found one.
But I've used probably 8 or 9 over the years. So that's got to say something about who's lasting. Because if it doesn't last, we throw it out and it's junk. So I've got out of probably 10 literally that I've used over the years, I have my 2 Earthways and another one that's orange. Other than that, that's nothing.
I knew we were golden when you sent your wife out with the 2150. I mean, that's fantastic.
There you go.
It's the one that she gets to use.
And she loved using it. You saw how that was.
She was smiling ear to ear.
That's genuine excitement, so you can't beat it. So, all right. Well, guys, that's where we'll land the plane today. Thanks again to Mitch for coming all the way out here from Portage. Thanks for the Earthway team for partnering up with us this fall on the podcast. Again, they really do help keep the lights on, quote unquote, around here. So, really grateful for their partnership. Earthway.com, check them all out. Get your shovels ordered, by the way, like now. Don't order them when you see snow in the 10-day forecast, like 2 days out. Get them now. That way you have them. You have time to build them. And that way they're ready to go. And then you guys can make sure you're all geared up and ready for winter and everything that old winter gets to throw at us. Amen. So, Mitch, thanks so much for the time. Appreciate you. And we'll catch up with you soon, brother.
All right. Sounds great. Thanks for having me, Brian.
All right, guys. We'll button up right here. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast, guys. And we'll catch up with you here on the next one.
Ready. Get ready for the event of the year. Lawntrepreneur Academy Live 2024 is coming to Novi, Michigan, the weekend of November 2nd. Prepare for a high-energy day packed with expert sessions on cash flow management, business automation, client retention, marketing strategies, and so much more. Our powerhouse lineup of speakers includes Sam Rankin, Pat Murray, Ken Deemer, Brian Fullerton, Sam Gimbel, Mark Bradley, and Jeff Joyner. You'll connect with industry leaders, snag incredible giveaways, and skyrocket your business. Plus, don't miss our epic Friday night mixer for top-tier networking and fun. For those who want to enhance their experience, register for our exclusive Sunday Masterclass sessions on November 3rd featuring Jeff Joyner, Mark Bradley, and Sam Gimbel. These intensive 3-hour classes are limited to just 20 seats each, giving you personalized expert advice from the best in the business. Visit LawEntrepreneurAcademy.com to register and reserve your masterclass spot for an additional fee. Isn't it time you grew your business? Don't miss Law Entrepreneur Academy Live. There's a link in the show description.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, no one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.
This has been a Brian Fullerton and Mr. Producer production.